everyone. Today we will come to know the Nomad interface and UI settings, as well as the function keys of Nomad. Nomad function keys are distributed along the border as a whole. Let's first look at the upper part. The menu on the left is mainly for editing items and models. The right menu is mainly for brush and system settings. Arranged vertically on the right is the tool menu, which is what we often call the brush menu. On the left side, you can conveniently set the parameters of the brush. The central part is our drawing area, finally in the lower left corner. Here are the shortcut keys for common functions. Click here to open the interface settings and pay attention to see when the menu is expanded. There is a thumbtack icon here. After activating the thumbtack, the menu will not be automatically collapsed when performing other operations. Adding a shortcut key is actually an editing suggestion for the bottom menu bar that can be opened except for the perspective view, because the perspective only needs to be switched once to take effect for a long time, and the perspective function is almost never used in the engraving process. Generally, we will only open it in the later rendering. The text is for the toolbox. That is the setting of the brush menu. Sometimes we need to slide the toolbar to find the brush. Click the small wrench here to toggle how the toolbar expands. After switching, all the brushes can be displayed. The maximum number of toolbox columns here that corresponds to the expanded arrangement. If you feel that the expanded toolbar blocks the drawing area, you can check the hidden toolbox here. So when we select the brush, the toolbar will automatically collapse. Long press the brushes in the toolbar to adjust their position at will to restore the default. Sorting, click Reset Toolbox Sort. In Nomad, we can set our favorite interface color. Here are the preset color schemes of the system. Click to switch Certainly. You can also customize the color in the color wheel and base color. Here the highlighting is turned on. Can change the display mode of the active button. Now the object is partially covered by the menu. Tick the panel transparency here. Then adjust the blur intensity. You can change the transparency of the menu. Let users with small form factor devices have more field of view. If you are used to using your left hand, the menu can be reversed here, corresponding to the positions of the upper, middle, and lower menu bars. Not enough height for some sizes. The menu on the left may not be fully displayed. Adjusting the interface zoom can improve this problem. The parameters here can also change the length and width of the menu. After adjusting the spacing and font size, the drawing area occupied by the menu will be relatively less. Edge offset can change the distance from the menu to the edge. Just keep the default settings, generally do not need to modify. Want to go back to the system, default UI settings. Click on the Reset Interface Style at the bottom. Look at the display settings again. Display settings are mainly for us to select and observe objects faster and more conveniently. Smooth shadows can visually make the ground model look smoother. Note that this is only a visual effect. There is no change in the real structure of the model. This results in smooth-looking rough when exporting to other software or 3D printing. Remember to turn off when engraving. After the outline is turned on, the selected model will be marked with an outline. Here you can change the color and thickness of the line. Whether it is turned on or not, you can decide for yourself. The grid is the world grid here. It can quickly determine the up and down direction and whether the perspective grid has a red line and a blue line. Where they intersect is the center of the world. So the world grid can also be used to teach whether the model is at the origin. Here you can change the color of the grid. The default color is fine, no need to modify the grid. It is recommended to turn on double-sided display. The surface of the 3D model can only be observed in one direction, and the other direction does not exist and cannot be seen. In order to facilitate the selection of objects, after activating the double-sided display, a fake face will be generated behind. In order to distinguish the front and back of the mask, the default color is brown. Here you can modify the color. Of course, you can also choose not to add tint to keep consistent with the front color. It is recommended to enable double-sided display. The object grid is the wireframe here that usually does not need to be turned on. When necessary, you can check the distribution of the lines on the surface of the model through the shortcut key switch. Here you can modify the color of the wireframe. The orientation view is this little square in the upper right corner. It is an important direction indicator and perspective manipulation tool. Be sure to open the bottom to change the location. It's good to put it in the upper right corner. It is not recommended to modify layer painting. You can switch to display the coloring of the model surface and keep it on. Displays the scene state, which is located in the upper left corner, and marks the usage of memory and the statistics of the number of faces of the model. It is our real-time window to understand the status of the software, so keep it open. Here you can change the position, but there is no need to debug UV. This requires the model to have UV to take effect. The shortcut keys for UV will also appear automatically below. Generally do not need to open last at the bottom. Restore default settings here. Ability to restore the initial state of the software when encountering some stubborn bug. You can try to use Next according to your actual needs. You can adjust the appropriate UI interface. Alright, that's the end of today's class. So see you in the next class.